Chicago Fire Season 14. Stella Reed opens the door for Shay's return. Chicago Fire has killed off its fair share of characters throughout its 13-season run, but now, one of them is poised to return in Season 14. The NBC procedural drama follows the firefighters and paramedics of Firehouse 51. So, given the show's nature, it makes sense why so many Chicago Fire characters have died. It wouldn't be believable if they all lived. Chicago Fire's first responders risk their lives almost every day to put out fires and save civilians. As such, sometimes they aren't so lucky as to make it out of calls alive. Fans have had to say goodbye to many beloved characters, but one of the most heartbreaking farewells came in Season 3, and the victim in question could still easily return. At the end of Chicago Fire Season 2, Firehouse 51 responded to a building fire. All the firefighters and paramedics, except for Chief Bowden, rushed inside, but an explosion rattled the structure just moments later. The episode concluded without the audience knowing the characters' fates. They had to wait until the Season 3 premiere to learn that Leslie Shay had been killed. A falling pipe struck Shay in the head after the explosion, and she seemingly died on impact. Viewers watched as her paramedic partner, Gabby Dawson, tried performing CPR on her to no avail in Chicago Fire Season 3, Episode 1. Shay was gone, and no one could save her. Gabby and Shay's best friend, Kelly Severide, desperately tried, but they couldn't revive her. Shay's tragic death in Chicago Fire was a complete shock, and it proved that no one, not even the main characters, was safe in the series. Of course, Shay's passing rocked Firehouse 51. In particular, Gabby and Severide were devastated by the loss. It took some time for them to come to terms with it, but that doesn't mean they have forgotten Shay. Severide and his wife, Stella Kidd, learned that she was pregnant during the Chicago Fire Season 13 finale. The two had been wanting to start a family since earlier in the season, and at first, they thought Kidd wouldn't be able to get pregnant. As a result, Severide and Kidd, who fans affectionately call Stellaride, tried the adoption route. Adoption didn't really work either. They almost got a baby, but the biological mother quickly changed her mind after giving birth, wanting to keep her child. Consequently, things were not looking good for Severide and Kidd. At the end of Chicago Fire Season 13, though, Kidd discovered that she was pregnant, and she and Severide rejoiced in the news. Kidd should give birth in Chicago Fire Season 14, most likely in its second half. When she does, she and her husband will have a big decision to make: what to call their baby. And I cannot think of a better name than Leslie or Shay, after Severide's best friend. Severide and Shay's relationship was arguably the best one on the show, and they even almost had a baby together, platonically. They were so close, and it was heartbreaking to see Severide grieve her. He just loved Shay so much, so naming his child after her would only be fitting. Severide and Kidd naming their baby after Shay would be the perfect way to honor her legacy and keep her relevant even 11 years after her death. It would also be a nice treat for the fans who miss her dearly. Plus, it also helps that Shay had a gender-neutral name that could work for a boy or a girl. If Severide and Kidd decide to name their child after Shay, that would open the door for NBC to bring Lauren German, who played Shay, back in Season 14. German hasn't appeared in a Chicago Fire episode since the Season 3 premiere. Given that her character is dead, the actress's absence is understandable. However, now that Severide is preparing to become a father, Shay could appear via flashbacks, dreams, and or hallucinations. The series could show flashbacks to before Shay died, when she and Severide were still living together. Perhaps Severide could reflect on a specific moment with Shay that is relevant to his current storyline, Eka having a baby, or he could hallucinate her. To our knowledge, German isn't currently tied down to any TV show or movie, so by all accounts, her schedule is open, allowing her to return to the One Chicago universe, even if it's for more than one episode. Only time will tell, though, If Severide and Kid named their baby after Shay in Chicago Fire Season 14, or if German returns.